Hello, I'm John Adams and thank you for joining me today. This video is one of several in a series I'm producing on tips and techniques you can use to speed up a slow performing PC. In this video we're going to take a look at a program that I'm pretty familiar with and I know is becoming a very popular program. It's called CCleaner. In the old days when it first came out it was called Crap Cleaner, and they've since changed the name of it, I suppose a little bit more politically correct. In any case, if you've looked at some of my other videos, you've seen a couple of things. One is deleting temporary Windows files. Another thing that I would have had on there is uninstalling programs that you no longer use. And the CCleaner program actually allows you to combine several of those steps into one program. So I want to give you a little bit of an overview of how to use that program, and it can actually save you from having to go through all of those steps separately. I just started the program. Here it is on screen. You can see it's called CCleaner now, and it's a free program. They have a paid version as well that has a few more features, but the free version does do a pretty good job as well. CCleaner.com. You can go there and actually download the free version of it. The first part I want to look at is already set up here, and the little brush looking icon is the cleaner section. Now Windows, as it goes about its daily chores and other programs that you load on top of Windows, for example Microsoft Office files, Word and Excel and so forth, and many other programs too, do what's known as leave junk behind as they do their job. In some cases they leave temporary files behind, and then the point of doing that is, let's say that you've performed a job and maybe the next day you're going to come back and revisit that job, reopen that file and edit some more and things like that. So that's one example where they might leave a temporary history file behind. Okay, and when you come back and redo the job again, that temporary history file doesn't need to be recreated because it's already there. So it speeds up the process just a little bit. Sometimes that's useful, sometimes it's not. Another example is cookies in your browser. In some cases cookies are useful for you, in some cases they're not. And so CCleaner allows you to clean up a lot of that stuff. One of the things that people fail to do is look at the trash bin, and a lot of deleted files can actually accumulate there, and over time they can just take up a lot of disk space with those deleted files. Now why do we want to get rid of all of that? A couple of reasons. One is that a very full hard drive has a tendency to cause your PC to slow down. So it's going to impact the performance of your PC just because your hard drive is filling up. The other thing is Windows goes through what's called an indexing process. When you do a search, your search is speeded up by that indexing process. The indexing process literally looks at all of the files on your hard drive. So the more of that temporary junk you've got, the more work the indexing program has to do. So cleaning out the junk basically speeds your PCs up in a couple of different ways. So let me just do a quick analyze here and we'll look at this. And like I said, the cleaner program is available from Microsoft Windows, but I've compared it with the CCleaner, and CCleaner almost always finds more files to be deleted. So I generally rely on CCleaner to do the cleanup process. And you can see 15 megabytes of file that are all temporary type stuff that just isn't needed anymore. If I click on the Run Cleaner, it's going to ask me, am I sure I want to do that? Just say yes, and it's going to delete everything, and now I'm clean again. Now this is a process that has to be repeated every 2 or 3 weeks because it's just a normal part of the Windows operation to leave those temporary files behind. In some cases it's poorly written software, but like I said, to some extent Microsoft built this into the tool. So cleaning house every so often will help to keep your PC running as fast as it can. Another thing that we talked about was deleting or uninstalling unneeded programs. So let's go down here to Tools. You can see I've got a list here of all of the programs that are installed on this PC. And I have another video where we looked at Windows uninstall program and you access it through the control panel. So it's a very similar process. We just click on the program, and then over here on the right you can see we've got run, uninstaller, rename, or delete the entry. Now delete the entry I'm not sure what the purpose of that is, but if you delete the entry, it's not going to show up here, but yet the program is still installed. So the most useful one would be run uninstaller. I'm not going to uninstall anything. I'm just pointing out how this program works. The other thing that we looked at was msconfig.exe. There's a video for that I've got on my video list, and that's a built-in tool that Microsoft provides, but it's missing a couple of key functions. So if we look at this startup button here on CCleaner, now my list is short. I don't have anything here, but you can see that if I click on this, I've got a couple of buttons over here. I can disable it, or I can actually delete it. One of the things that happens is if you disable these, sometimes you run the program and they get re-enabled again. The startup, this list right here is programs that start up when you first power on your PC after you've turned it off overnight. And the point here is not so much, although in some cases it is that you want to get rid of these programs permanently, but sometimes the programs are useful. You just don't want them to slow down the startup process of booting up the PC. And so you just take them out of the startup list. They're still installed and you can still run the programs from the start menu, the Windows start menu. I'm talking about the start menu over here. But you don't want them in the startup list, and this tool not only allows you to disable them, you can literally delete them from the list so that they should never start up again going forward. Now, the other thing I want to look at, and this is kind of a complex concept, the Windows registry is basically a database with a lot of information in it. It's a highly tuned, very efficient database, and it's just for Windows. No other programs, well, other programs can use it, but it's built for Windows. Okay. In other words, other programs, they use it, but it's not used in a way that you might think. In other words, if you type a Word document, it can't store it in that database. Maybe that's a little awkward way to describe it, but it's a behind-the-scenes database. And it keeps a lot of information about running Microsoft Windows. The problem, as with all databases, is that the registry it gets filled up with more junk, stuff that gets left behind. Maybe you install a program, you play with it a while, decide you don't need it, so you uninstall it. It leaves a lot of records behind in the registry because a lot of poorly written programs don't do a proper job of uninstalling themselves. That's been a big problem with Windows for as long as Windows has been around. Continues to be a problem today. So CCleaner goes through the registry periodically when you run it. It will clean out all of those problem records, okay, that are no longer useful. And as any database, as it grows over time, the more records there are, regardless of whether they're used or not, the more records there are in that database, the slower it tends to run. So obsolete or unneeded records are cleaned out, and now you've tweaked the registry so it's giving you a little bit better performance for your PC. So basically I just scan for issues, and I keep it clean, so you're not going to find a lot, but I did find one item in there. And if I want to go ahead and take care of it, I click on the Fix Selected Issues, and I'm not going to. It's a good idea to back up your registry whenever you make changes to the registry, which is what we're doing. We're actually deleting rows of data in that registry, so it's generally a good idea. I'm going to cancel this just because I don't want to take a risk of doing something in the middle of this video. But you would say, yes, I want to back up the registry, and then it would automatically name the registry with today's date and some other information and store it in your user folder so that you should be able to find it fairly easy if you need to in the future. And then go ahead and delete the files. Okay, so that's it about CCleaner. That's a tool that I rely on quite a bit. There are plenty of opinions on whether or not any of these steps are really helpful or really necessary, but I have used them myself. I maintain my PC fairly regularly with this tool and some others as well. And I can tell you, my PC, I almost never have problems with it, and I have very good performance with it on a daily basis. And I have helped other people to clean up problems in their PCs using this tool and some of the other tools that we've seen in the videos. So I do know that they work. I've been able to successfully speed up several friends and customer PCs by using these techniques. Let me get rid of this. This, like I said, is free. You go to the www.ccleaner.com website and you can download it directly from there. And certainly you want to take a look at their website and see if the paid version is something you'd rather have, a few more features, some automatic capabilities that are not available in the free version. And basically, once you install it, you set it, and it's a set it and forget it type of thing, and it'll automate a lot of that those processes for you. Well, that's it for CCleaner. My name is John Adams. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you again in a future video.